Hello and welcome back to day number 3. It is the last day of GPS to your next 100K. I am Dr. Linette Montae, and I will be with you today sharing some golden nuggets about scale. And so the first day we talked about growth. Growth is all about you. So not just about your business, right? It has to also be about you growing. And then we also talked about positioning. How are you showing up? What is your brand saying and doing and being in the marketplace? And then on day 2, we talked about profit because GPS stands for grow, profit, and scale. Profit has 2 layers. We covered your people and we covered processes because without people and processes, getting to your next 100K faster without guesswork and without compromise is going to be challenging. And those 4 layers are just the beginning. They are 4 layers that come from the Profitable Empires Framework, which is my proprietary framework that I use with every single client. And so this January 2025 marks my 40th year as an entrepreneur. 40 years I have been in this game. I have worked with over 21 industries. I am primarily a fractional COO and a profitability strategist. I have worked with solopreneurs like coaches and consultants, doctors and lawyers, therapists. I have also worked with billion-dollar brands like Marriott, United Way, Massage Envy, names that you know like Avis, Budget Car Rental. And so I've seen it all. I've seen small businesses needing and challenging to grow. And I've also seen large businesses challenging to grow. And here's what they all have in common. They have the same exact challenges. They only have extra zeros and extra commas. So please don't be confused and don't be amused by some of the tactics that you see out here on the internet street, because where the money really comes from is offline. Where the strategies that stand the test of time come from are the traditional strategies that we've been using before the internet ever existed. That's how you grow, profit, and scale a business. Why don't you tell me in the chat, in the comments, why are you here? Where are you in your business? Are you focusing on growing? Are you focusing on profit or are you focusing on scale? Which one? And remember, we also talked about the process, the flow. A lot of people are trying to convince you that you grow, you profit, and then you scale. And I dispelled that myth, I believe, on day number 1. The flow is grow, profit, scale. And so no matter what phase you're in, it has nothing to do with your revenue level. You can be in any one of those 3 phases, whether you're at 1K, 100K, 1 million, or you have 7, 8, 9 figures. You're going to be in one of those phases at every stage of an offer, of a product development, a program development. It's all the same. So here are some myths I want to dispel when it comes to scaling. Myth number 1 is that scaling doesn't happen until you're at $1 million. That is simply not true. If you wait until you're at $1 million, you are going to have a very rocky road when you start trying to scale, because now you have so many things in place. You have so many balls in play that trying to scale when you've already arrived at $1 million is going to be messy. Sometimes you have to really shut your business down or slow it down to a snail's pace in order to scale once you've gotten to that level of revenue. I am going to rock this boat all the way until the wheels fall off because you need to start thinking about scaling long before you reach seven figures. Remember, it's grow, profit, scale. So every time that you make an offer, you're going to grow that offer. You're going to reach a certain level of revenue, which I recommend is 100K. And then you're going to start thinking about how do you scale that offer. Don't wait until a million, okay? Myth number two, scaling is hard. Scaling is only hard when you wait too long. Some people believe you can scale too early. Most people believe you can scale too late. And I believe both is true. And so when you wait too long to start scaling, to start thinking about scaling, you can think about scaling from the day that you open your business, to tell you the truth. You may not have anything to scale yet, but if you go into business ownership already thinking about scaling, then you will be prepared at its earliest opportunity and not blindsided at a later date. And so it's not hard. It's effort, or it's intentional. That's what scaling is. It's being intentional about your growth and about the next steps in your business, but it's not hard. Myth number three is that it takes a long time. It doesn't take a long time unless you wait too long. Every myth I hear is coming from people who waited until they were seven figures to scale. And it's not their fault. That's what so many people say you should do. But if you know me, I am here to shed societal shoulds and to help you redefine success on your terms, not theirs. And I am here to tell you that scaling is not hard. It is not painful. It doesn't take a long time. And it is not necessary for you to wait until you're at $1 million. So now that we have dispelled those myths, let's talk about what scaling really is. And so first of all, I want to say this, because I've been known to step on toes, and I think I've done that on every single day. So I might as well step on toes to start this day and get it over with. The one thing about profit, once you reach the profit level, that's when your long lost friends and your long lost family members are going to show up. But when you reach the stage of scaling, that's when your long lost fears and traumas are going to show up. And I need you to know that this is true. All the skeletons that you have in your closet, all the things that you have swept under the rug, they are going to come tumbling out when you get to the phase of scaling. And it may not feel so good. And so I just want to warn you ahead of time, it's okay. Instead of fighting that uncomfortable feeling, lean into it, because your breakthrough is on the other side of what that feels like right now. But it's about massive growth. You cannot get there and feel like everything is going to be yummy. Massive growth requires you to grow, requires you to stretch out of your comfort zone. And in order to do that, you're going to be faced with some things that you have ignored or that you didn't know were there. So just lean into it. It's called the journey to self-mastery. And you cannot reach seven figures or eight figures or nine figures if you're not willing to take the journey to self-mastery. So now that you know that, you have all the myths dispelled, I've stepped on some toes, let's jump back into the framework.